Sorry. I've been gone for 6 days, basically, helping my friends move into their Kentucky farmhouse. They know what's going on, and I say they're preppers, but they're extremely prepared, and I was helping them move stuff into their new Kentucky farm. I was planning on, when I got back, making a video, and I want to mention that towards the latter half of this video, of the Black Swan event relative to the solar eclipse. But then another Black Swan event happened less than 24 hours ago. I'm so exhausted. I'm just like every inch of my body is just completely sore. Yes, I know, obviously I'm quite out of shape, as is obvious to anybody. That's a polished rock there. I didn't know it was that polished. I must be deliriously tired. There's a couple nights I actually just like fell into bed, like I had literally dropped dead on my feet. That was quite astonishing. A lot of moving around and doing things. Wonderful, wonderful friends of mine, super great people. They know what's going on the same as other people, and I've found land for people, including these people, and it's just, I don't know, General Mike Flynn was talking about this Black Swan event of the Baltimore Francis Scott Key Bridge. By the way, that's the guy that wrote the song, one of the Founding Fathers songs. I'm pretty sure you, at least I hope you do, know who Francis Scott Key is. If you don't really know any history, but if you're not an American, you might not know that. General Mike Flynn regarding, and nobody's talking about what's important. Nobody. I'm going to very quickly get to that. People say, well, it's the bridge, and, it's the ship, and nobody's focusing on what actually happened. Well, sure, the ship hit the bridge. I'm going to point out a few things that nobody's talking about. I'm going to very quickly get to that. Anyway, General Mike Flynn said, this is absolutely a Black Swan event. Black Swans normally come out of the world of finance, not military. Standard operating procedure, or SOP, for all U.S. ports, harbors, and bays that transit commerce and military activities are supposed to maintain an incredible level of discipline, rigor, and awareness for these types of events not to occur, ever. And yet, here we are. There are harbor masters for every single one of these transit points in America, and that are in charge of assuring the safety of navigation. Start there. What nobody's talking about, let's get to a few things that, it's blocking the port of Baltimore. Everybody's focused on, and I think there's 3 or 4 different video angles of the ship. Yeah. 2 of the videos very, very clearly show that it is steering for the pylons of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. This is over the Patapsco River, by the way. It's threatening over 140,000 jobs. People are reporting on this. This is not me reporting on this. Blocks entry of cars and sugar and other things. I have to get to that in a second. But you can actually see the lights flickering and large plumes of black smoke coming out of the stack. And now this is presumably, I don't know if you've seen the ship that hit the Francis Scott Key Bridge, but over 140,000 tons. There is literally nothing on this earth that is mobile, that has more weight and force behind it to knock down a bridge than, take a look at this ship if you like. These are the ones that have they're stacked like 10 deep inside of the ship and another 10 deep on top from bow to stern. It is a super, super, endlessly titanically heavy, unstoppable moving entity. It is, you could not pick, if you wanted to wreck something, you could not pick a better battering ram than what this type of vessel is. It's like, well, a ship hit it. It's like, no, 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 no. Super heavy laden cargo ship hit it. Called the Dolly, by the way. See the large plumes of black smoke coming out of the stack? And presumably they're saying that the plant died, meaning the power engine died, and we see the lights flickering a couple times before it actually impacted the pylons. The two videos show it absolutely perfectly diverting to hit the pylon. That is conjecture that it was intentionally hitting the pylon. However, the video is rather undeniable. As skilled as those people are to pilot these super, there's nothing larger moving on this earth than those suckers at over 140,000 tons expertise behind the wheel than those ships. And not only that, they have harbor masters. What nobody else is pointing out, and I think one person is that the time it hits and right as the bridge collapses, far, far away from where the pylon is and where the ship is hitting the bridge, you can see two explosions going off. Watch and slow it down very slowly. You can see it there, very blatant explosions. Well, those are just power lines, probably snapping and breaking and therefore arcing and sparking because the bridge is collapsing. And of course, the power line that actually goes across it, and I don't know that one does go across it, is snapping and therefore also going kaput. Power lines, high voltage power lines that go across that are contained, not regular ones that are on telephone poles, power poles, don't do that. They don't actually create that type of cloud and that type of flash of the explosions that are very, very far away. That's not metal scraping against metal, and no. It's very blatant explosions. I'm not going to conjecture as to the source of those explosions, but I'm basically 100% certain it is absolutely not electrical. I put zero faith. I want to get in and talk about the lunar stuff here in a second. Let's actually go down. Yeah, Lars Jensen, a maritime trade expert. This collision is a major disaster and will create significant problems in the U.S. East Coast for U.S. importers and exporters. CSX's Curtis Bay Coal Piers, which handles export coal and produce products at mines primarily in West Virginia and Pennsylvania. If I seem a little off, it's because I'm brutally exhausted. I mean, brutally. So if you're like, well, what's wrong? It seems a little off. Well, I am a little off because I'm extremely exhausted. The Seagirt Container Terminal and adjacent intermodal container transfer facility. The Dundalk Marine Terminal is there. The Fairfield Automobile Terminal. I would ask you to bring up the Francis Scott Key Bridge on like a Google search and then go just a couple miles north of there. It is the most congested, busy B center of import-export that is, I don't know, there might be two or three that are more busy than that in the United States. I think it's actually top three. Laura Logan is actually pointing some things out. Wasn't an accident. Her intel sources say that the Baltimore Bridge collapse on the second busiest strategic roadway for hazardous materials was quote-unquote an absolutely brilliant strategic attack. I know whatever you think about Laura Logan is your business. Laura Logan sounds the alarm in the Baltimore Bridge collapse. We are in an undeclared conflict, and intelligence agencies are telling me that it was, quote, an act of cyber terror, and then I'm going to add the ending on that, ism. So make of that what you will. I actually put a lot of faith in General Mike Flynn. Even if you hate the guy, he's actually a person of honor, and he has a lot of inside sources. He's telling everybody out there right now that this is a Black Swan event. And you know, if I'm not a betting person, I would say that it is. The explosions, the fact that it looks intentional, I mean, it looks blatantly intentional that it diverted to hit it. And say, well, the lights were flickering on and off, and it had a power outage. Was it an actual power outage? They supposedly were calling out a mayday 3 minutes before they hit. If they had 3 minutes forewarning of the power outage, I don't know what sort of mechanical connectivity I mean, it diverted at the last few seconds. None of this is actually adding up. I'm sorry, just none of it is. You can say I'm wrong all you want. You know, I read every comment. You know, if you have a more intelligent angle on this, the explosions, the very, very, very seemingly intentional different pills. Well, it takes these ships are super, super heavy, and if they're going at any speed at all, which they would not do through a port like that. And apparently it was clipping along quite fast. There's supposed to be harbor masters controlling these. I mean, they are by law have to be harbor masters controlling them out of there. None of it's adding up. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not adding up. It's not. I was going to talk about, there are 5, and I think there's more than 5 now, warning to stock up on. Listen, I put absolutely zero faith in a lunar shadow passing across the Earth, you know, doing anything. It's a shadow. It's the moon between the sun and the Earth. Literally. Okay? You have to be rational and logical. But I put total trust in a corrupt global cabal, aka Hydra, using this eclipse as a front to fearmonger and enacting a genuine exercise of force against global commerce and the citizen. I was literally going to do a video about the Black Swan event of the solar eclipse, which the solar eclipse is nothing itself. It is nothing. You could talk about all sort of biblical prophecies regarding the. If you believe in that, fine. I don't really care. I'm a shadow passing across the sun of the earth is absolutely nothing. However, a corrupt, evil group of entities and groups using that to exercise, you know, bedlam. I have total trust and faith in that. Absolutely. Not that I have faith in it, but I have faith that they're that evil and they would absolutely use that. They're warning now, stock up on food and water, expect cell phone issues and outages. During the solar eclipse, the police warn. They've called out, I don't know how many states it is, I think it's 5, National Guard for the solar eclipse on April the 8th. There is a long history, and I was watching it, and I had no idea the connectivity there, going all the way back to October 8th of last year event, and I'll let you figure out what that big event was in the Mideast. Relative to the Red Heifers, even the group that supposedly, they said it had to do with the Red Heifers that are going to be taken out, if you will, or burned on Passover. It's so interesting, and not interesting in a good way. It's interesting that all these things are being planned, and the fact that we had a Black Swan event, or at least I'm calling it a Black Swan event, and it appears that it is. If you think, and that's what everybody's talking about. They're talking about, oh, the 6 missing people. Well, that's terrible. And the bridge and the ship, and, you know, that, oh, it's just terrible. Look at that. Look at that gigantic, you know, it's going to take years to rebuild the bridge. Nobody's talking about the fact that it just blocked top strategic port. What is it? Number second busiest strategic portal for hazardous materials. It's coal and vehicles and hazardous materials and wood, automobile, farm construction equipment, wood pulp, steel. I don't know if you know what the Baltimore port is, but I mean, it's absolutely major. Nobody's talking about that. Oh, look at the poor ship, look at the poor bridge, terrible, terrible, terrible. Ooh, pity, pity, pity. Fine. You're looking over here when the serious issue is the fact that that collapsed, and over a mile, what is it, 1.2 miles of that bridge collapsed? It's blocking... It's blocking the Baltimore port. Just bring up a Google Map search and take a look, if you will, actually. Now, there's 2 things that would cause that huge plume of black smoke from exhaustion of an enormous amount of diesel in a very, very short period of time. Going full steam into the pylon, which you can see it's diverting towards that, and if it's intentionally diverted or accidentally diverted, smack into that pylon. I'll let you... you know, make your own conclusions about that. Or we saw that large black plume of smoke due to the exhaustion of an enormous amount of diesel in a short period of time by the engines of the power plant being thrown into full reverse. But there's the track of the ship gives absolutely zero indication of that. Zero. Take a look for yourself. The reductive conclusion of that is that it's steam full steam into the pylon. Do I know that for a fact? I absolutely do not. I will not claim that. But I can state factually that there is nothing larger on this earth that moves, that will absolutely wreck and destroy anything in its way, more so than one of those super mega cargo ships that's loaded with a gazillion tons of, not literally of course, a gazillion tons of whether it be steel or automobiles, etc., etc., etc. It's unstoppable. Essentially unstoppable. Certainly so to the point that it would take out the pylons of a major bridge, which it did do, and all the video shows it steering right towards it. These Black Swan events are designed to divide. They're trying to divide this country. Canada is being divided. Europe is being divided. Every video I've seen out of France and Deutschland and the Oostenrijk and the Netherlands, and what I'm seeing out of the UK, I do read every comment. I've seen an enormous amount of comments. I didn't know I had so many UK watchers. I knew there was quite a lot, but I didn't know it was that many on the last video that I made. And they all say the same thing. The UK is gone. You know, it's no more. The UK I grew up in, it just doesn't exist anymore. They're trying to demean, diminish, break down, and bring everybody to their knees. They've been talking about this for years. That is their goal, that is their plan, and they are doing it. What happens when you completely destroy the access point for the second busiest portal in the United States? And I don't know if it's the biggest on the east coast of the United States. Don't you find that funny? Everybody's talking about the bridge and the ship. Oh, God, look at that. And nobody's talking about the fact that it is affecting over 140,000 jobs in the balance. It's it's a strategic import-export portal. It's blocked. Who's talking about that? Nobody so far that I know of, really, at least none of the people in the lamestream news, which we all know they're bad and evil and corrupt and they lie, but please stop focusing. You know, you see this over here, and that's what all the dumb people are looking. Oh my God, look at the bridge and the ship. And the big thing is right over here, which is, I think it's like 2 miles to the north of the collapse. That's a super, super, super busy port. It's, I forget the name of the port. It's actually got several names because there's several ports there for import-export. Absolutely amazing. General Mike Flynn isn't wrong. Laura Logan is not wrong. I hear, because she's very beautiful, that and very intelligent, I've heard this anyway, that a lot of people on the inside, the muckety-mucks, actually trust her, and they love talking to her and feeding her juicy information. Well, apparently Laura Logan, by her own words, has been fed, you know, a lot of juicy information. Said this is absolutely an attack. General Mike Flynn's a Black Swan event. People that are intelligent and in the know say this is a Black Swan event. So you tell me what you think. I watch and read every comment. I'm sorry I seem so out of it. I need sleep really, 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 really bad. My fingers are kind of pulled out, and I'm just kind of frazzled. I was glad to help my friends move and, you know, get their farm and their farmland and everything prepped and ready. They're moving in. Great for them. Wonderful people. The whole time I was there, there's a bed which in the back room there, which I was sleeping on, and there wasn't a bed frame, so it's on the floor, which is fine. It's a very nice bed. But I was so sore and so stiff that I had to get up to use the facilities, and to get up in the morning, I'd kind of roll out of bed and crawl like a dog on all fours for a little bit, and then try to make my way up off the floor. Oh, God. The one person that's still there that used to own the place, she got a bunch of golden retrievers, and I built one of the porch swings, which rocks forwards and backwards. And short little anecdotal story here. One of the golden retrievers came up and put his chin on my lap and just looked up at me, like pet me, and I was sitting there giving the golden retriever, body rubs and neck rubs, and what a good dog, what a good dog. I don't have the money to own or take care of a dog. I can barely afford to take care of myself, but I know everybody loves golden retrievers. They are wonderful dogs. Woof, woof, woof. What an awesome... That was a big dog, too. Big dog. Sorry. My throat's sore. Every bone and muscle in my body is kind of sore and stiff. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you like these videos. If you ever want to contact me, let me know in the description below, which has my email and contact info. Have a lovely week. And don't be afraid of the eclipse. It's not the eclipse that is to worry about. It's the evil Hydra that is going to use the eclipse. And apparently they are. And let's see what happens. I hope nothing happens. Yeah. I'm so tired. Thank you. Goodbye. My God, I'm so tired.